Hi everyone, it's Tammy from Frou-frou Studio, I think. Obviously, I'm having problems speaking already, and we're not even started yet. I am back today with another Relax Revisit remake, and today I am going to be revisiting a make using this die cut by Tim Holtz. And if you don't have this particular die, don't worry about it. I'm going to give you an option. And so I will show you with this die cut what I want to do, and then I will show you an option. And I apologize for being behind on my videos. I have been kind of under the weather for the last couple of days, and so I am way behind, but you know, you can only do what you can do. So we're gonna do this one today because I'm bored. I'm bored of sitting around not doing anything. So we're gonna try to work through it, and I will get caught up on the other videos just as soon as I can. So the first thing you want to do is kind of make 4 of these in whatever materials that you would like. The thinner the better. I have a really thin, cheap file folder here, so even though it is a cardstock or manila file folder, it's a really cheap one, and so it's not really thick. So I have cut 3 out of that, and then I have cut 1 out of onion paper, which is really thin, and then I have a doily. And the doily is, if you're looking for those, the 4-inch diameter. And basically what we're going to do is kind of stack these up and make a kind of a kaleidoscope type of thing. I'm going to ink them while I'm explaining. So obviously, this particular die was designed after an old Viewmaster, which each of these little squares would have a picture in it, you know, and you stick it down in the Viewmaster and you see, you know, whatever picture that you want to look at. Sometimes they were, you could get them at a gift shop at a, you know, touristy place, and it'd be, you know, wherever you were, like the Grand Canyon or, you know, like that. But you could also get them that were like cartoons. I remember having some cartoon ones when I was little, or Barbie, or, you know, all kinds of different themes. I haven't seen these in the store in a long time, like a new version, so I don't know if they're still available out there, but I always thought they were really cool when I was little. Of course, you know, we've got all the computer stuff and all that going on now, and so, you know, I don't know how much these old things like this are appreciated these days, but some of my favorite things were the Viewmaster and the Etch-a-Sketch and the Spirograph, and, you know, I'm telling my age, but, yeah, that's what we like to play with. And the little magnetic bearded man or whatever, you know, where you could drag the little pieces of metal up and give them a mustache or hair or whatever. And also the magic drawing boards. I don't know if y'all remember those or not, but you draw on them and then you could lift up and it'd erase everything and you could draw something else. My mom used to always get us something like that when we were going on a road trip, so we'd have something to do in the car while we were driving wherever. She'd always pack us like a little bag. We'd get a new coloring book and a new pack of crayons and stuff just to kind of keep us from killing each other. I had 2 sisters, and we all, you know, climbed in the car to go wherever. So I'm sure she was trying anything to keep us occupied, keep us from killing each other while we were driving. So, yeah, my sisters and I are all 6 years apart, so, you know, the middle sister is 6 years younger than me, and then my baby sister is 12 years younger than me, so there was quite an age difference in all of us, and so it didn't take much for us to get on each other's nerves, especially since I was the oldest, and so, you know, although I loved my sisters very much, there's still, when you get to be about 12, and you have a, you know, 12 or 13, and you have a sister that's basically a newborn and a sister that's 6, the last thing you want to be bothered with is little sisters. But anyway, that's a different story. So after you get all your layers and ink them or not ink them, it's up to you. I used one of the tougher ones, one of the cardboard ones for the back. And then I put my doily on here. And then I use one of the cardstock ones. And then I'm going to put my vellum one, or my onion paper, whatever you want to use. Vellum would work. Scrapbook paper would work. And then I'm going to put whichever one I decide I want to be on top. In this case, it is still a file folder one, but I have inked it with speckled egg. And you can ink it with whatever you like. I just did speckled egg because of what I'm going to use to decorate it. And then just to finish it off, I did a circle with some music paper on it. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a brad and I'm going to put through everything. And I've already poked the holes in the ones that needed holes, which was this top piece and the doily. So now if I can get them all together. Now, if you're going to do something thin, like the onion skin paper or vellum or something like that, when you cut your die, you're going to want another piece underneath it. So when I cut my piece out of the onion skin, I also cut one out of the manila folder. And that allowed me to have enough thickness to cut them both. If the paper's too thin, you're going to have a problem with it being thick enough under your pads to cut through it. Okay, so now that's what we have, and you can see this is interactive. It rotates. And it makes kind of a kaleidoscope thing, which I think is really cool. Because you can rotate each different one. And it kind of just gives a really cool effect. So, now I have a little bird. And I'm going to put it on here in the center of the one on top, just to add a little decorative piece. I'm going to keep my glue kind of toward the middle because I don't want it going in my holes so that my piece won't turn. Now, the way that I did this originally is I also had a little paper bag that I had embossed to make a pocket. So I've done that same thing. It's just a little flat paper bag. You can get these on Amazon. And you get 100 of them, I think, in a pack for a few bucks. So they're not bad. And I ran it through my Big Shot with an embossing folder and emboss the bag. Now, if you're going to emboss these bags, I would suggest that you put something in between here when you do it. Because if you do that, it will keep the embossing from, one, sticking these two together because they're so thin, and two, it'll keep it from cracking, so it's not going to tear. So I have embossed this, and I have inked it. And then I just made myself a little card with my tag punch. 2.5 inches fits this little bag. And this bag is 2 3/4 by 4.5, not including this flap. Okay? And so I made my tag 2.5 inches because that's what fits in my tag punch. And I just made it out of manila folder. You can see I need to cover it on the back. And so that fits down there, in there like that. And then I had glued on my journal page like this. And then I embellished the bag with some florals. So I have a few out here. I don't know which ones I want to use, so I'm going to kind of audition a couple here. Like that one, I think. Maybe a white. And you don't have to do the bag part if you don't want to, or if you want to make some other kind of pocket, that's fine too. You could also make this on a pocket that goes across the bottom, but you want to make sure that wherever you put this, when you glue it down, you're only gluing this back piece, because you still want all these to rotate and be your interactive part. So let's do that, kind of like that, I think. And we might even put another, yeah, I'm going to put that little piece, so that's just a piece of scrapbook paper. So I think I am going to glue this down. Glue my flowers down. And I'm not going to decorate my pocket today, or tag, so I can show you the other example, but, you know, I would put something on the tag that accents, you know, the same kind of theme as the others. Maybe some music paper and another bird, or some more florals, you know, something that's going to be kind of the same. I hope my lighting's okay. We're having storms, and my lighting is not that great in my craft room if it's stormy outside, because most of the lighting in here is natural light through the window. I don't have any kind of special lighting. It's just regular old overhead lights, but I do have a lamp on, so I'm hoping that's giving enough light so you can see what's going on. So yeah, I think that's really cute. And so when I put it, like I said, when I put it in the journal page, you know, I would mount it something like this and have, you know, this piece as an interactive piece, and then a tag in the pocket. So that's that. Oh, I was going to put a piece of tape across there so it looked like tape was holding those flowers on, just to add another little something something. Where do I want to put it? Maybe right there, just to look like the florals have been taped on there. So there's that one. So now I'm going to show you an alternative if you do not have this die, because you can still make this look, or make a really cute kind of kaleidoscope. Sorry, I'm trying not to cough in the camera. Also, you could use brighter colors. I mean, if you wanted this to look more, you know, like a true kaleidoscope and have lots of bright colors back there, then, you know, by all means, just make your layers different colors. And that way, when you spin it around, instead of just having the muted colors like I have in this one, then you would have, you know, bright colors. And you just want to make sure that you don't make this little brad thing too tight. I may have done this one just a little bit too tight, so I'm going to pull it up just a little bit and loosen it, I think. Yeah. Okay, so alternative. Alright, so for an alternative, what you want to do is cut a circle, and it can be any size you want it to be. I did mine with the Ranger Circle Punch, or Circle Die, the nesting ones, and I think I used the third size down, but they, the circle I did is 3 1/4. So again, I went through and punched all my layers, and I also punched one out of just a piece of garbage, you know, a scrap that was no good for anything else, and that's the one I made my template with. And so to make my template, what I did was I had my full circle, and I went on my little grid here, and you can use whatever you want to do this, but I drew a line and I quartered this, and then I did it again. Does that make sense? So I was trying to find my template, and I don't know what I did with it, so I could show you. Yeah, guys, it's not been a very productive couple of days. But anyway, I hope you get what I mean. So if you have your circle, maybe I can show you with a ruler. If you have your circle, you're going to want to draw a line here, top to bottom. You're going to want to draw a line here, and that will give you a center point. After you have your center point, split the split the lines that you just drew here and here, and that will give you where you want to punch your circles. And then take your punch, like this was my smallest one, and I don't know that it has measurement on it, but if I had to guess, I'd say it's a half. Yeah, it's about a 1/2 inch. And everywhere that you drew a line, take your circle punch and put it in the center of the line that you drew and poke a hole. And that will give you the same type of look, but of course they're round instead of being square. So again, I'm going to ink all these real quick. And I actually kind of like the circles more than I like the original, but I was just trying to think of an alternative if you didn't have that die, because for a long time I didn't have it either, until he came out with the fall series. I had actually purchased some that were already cut. That's another option for you guys if you don't have a big shot or you don't have dies. There are sellers on Etsy that have the dies already cut, and you can buy them. So you might want to think about that as an alternative if you don't want to do this and you want the original. And like I said again, you don't have to ink, and you can make these out of whatever you want. This one is, of course, Tim Holtz paper. I think I made all of these. No, this is scrapbook paper, so that one's thinner. The reason you don't want to use too thick of paper is you don't want to cause a bunch of bulk in your journal. The piece is already kind of bulky because it's got the brad, but it's not too terribly bad, especially for me, because I'm bad about making things that are really bulky, but I like it. I like my layers, so. Alright, so there's my 4. So remember, we're going to put a sturdy one on the back, and then we're going to put our dolly, and then we're going to put a sturdy one, and then we're going to put scrapbook paper or vellum, whatever, on there. And you can use, as long as you have a sturdy one on the back and a sturdy one on the front, if you want the inside to be scrapbook paper and vellum and all that, that is perfectly fine. You just want to make sure at least a couple of them, front and back at least, are sturdy. So now we have our stack, and since this was not cut from a die, you want to make sure that you have everything lined up, that all your circles match up, and then we're going to figure out where about the center is and poke a hole. Where's my awl? Okay. And actually, I might lay this on here. Let's see. So it looks like this circle is 1, 2, 3. We're gonna say it's about 3. So if we go 1, let me move it over here where I can. 1 3/4. No, 1 1/2. Dummy. No, see, that's not right. I can tell that's not right. Oh, I've got one that's not even. Okay, let's do it this way. I'm going to take the doily out because it hangs. It's more, it's wider. Okay, I'll take my pencil and I'm going to mark it. It's 3 1/4. Should be about right there. Okay, so now we're going to poke a hole. Just big enough to get a brad through. That's all we're interested in doing here. Might need to be a little bit bigger than that. Okay, now I'm going to put my doily back in there. Get it straight, and then I'll poke a hole through the doily. I don't need the back one on there to do that. Okay, those are even. Okay, and then for this one I have a moth that I'm going to put on here. And I want the brad to go through the moth. So I'm going to poke a hole about right there. And then put my brad in there. And put my brad through everything else. Okay. And again, don't do it really tight because you want to be able to move everything around. so that all your different layers show through. And that's why I say if you don't want, you know, as subtle as what I'm showing here for all your different layers, you definitely can make brighter colors. So then when you turned it around and exposed all the different layers, you would see much brighter colors under there. I don't quite have that even. I've got it too loose, I think. But anyway, we'll get that situated. And then again, I did a little paper bag with a tag. And I've got some florals to put on it, and I think I'm going to use these on this one. Oh, I didn't put my centerpiece on there. I bet you were yelling at me, weren't you? Gotta put my this piece. I'm going to go in from the back. With that one on the back, it's not in the center at all. I should have clamped them together before I poke the hole. That's what happens when you don't measure. See, that's not anywhere near the center. We'll get it. We'll get it in a minute. Luckily, that moth is going to cover up a lot of my error here. Just going to kind of work it through slowly so I don't tear anything. There we go. All right. Now we're cooking biscuits. Okay. So again, you can put it down just like that. Put your little piece of seam binding in the top here. Maybe. I think I might put a couple of white flowers on this one as well. You know, this would be a lot easier if I'd take this tag out of this paper bag and try to do this, but, you know, why do it the easy way when you can struggle? Oh, this can't be this difficult. Where's the other end? There it is. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, I think it needs that pop of white. Don't you? So again, let's take a piece of tape. I need a fairly long one this time. Really need to get some more of this. I don't even know if it's still out there, it's all sold out or what. So, and I will glue that down at some point. I just want to not get bogged down with the video. And then we need something to go down here, I think a label or something like that. So, see if I have something in my scrap. I do have the polka dot that I cut my circle out of. So yeah, maybe we'll just take a strip of this. Get my tear ruler. It's a little too wide. Yeah, I think that'll work. Take a little bit more off. Washi tape. You could put washi tape across the bottom there if you wanted. Alright, let's sink that. And then we might put a little label across there. Do I have anything close at hand? Let me grab my tin up here, like a little, one of those little number strips or something. I've got this right here. That came off a package that I got in the mail. I just thought it was cool, so I kept it. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. got a little piece of green tape on the back of it I'm trying to peel off. Okay. So then, when I glue it down, it'll go like that. And you can turn these. And you can put little handles on that too if you wanted. Just a little piece so you could turn each one of them individually. That would be kind of cool. But the idea is to turn them in such a way when you put it in your journal originally so that each of your layers is showing. And it just kind of gives a cool effect, I think. So there you go. So this one is with the original die from Tim Holtz. And then the moth is a alternative if you do not have that die. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And like I said, I'll catch up on videos as soon as I can. I owe you a I Settled on Pinterest video. I'm not going to video. I've kept up with my ABC April 2025 challenge and posted those on Instagram, but I'm not going to have videos for those because I just wasn't up to it. And then I need to give you a flip through of my Sweet Pea Curiosities finished journal. And I also need to do my ABC JLC for this week. So yeah, I've got lots on my plate, and I will get them out to you as soon as I can. Until then, until I see you again, which hopefully will be soon, I hope everybody stays safe and has a great evening, and I will see you soon. Bye.